episode of About You podcast. Um, if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, I ask you to share the show, invite someone. It's going to be another fascinating conversation. Um, Today, I have with me as guest Mr. Browne, Mr. Isaac Browne. Um, we will be talking about Taboo Connection, the past, the present, and the future. So I ask you again to share the show, invite someone, tell a friend to tell a friend. So get some water and come with your questions as well. We'll open the line for questions and comments, if any. So just Mr. Brown, welcome to the show. I know this is your first time, so I just want to say welcome to About You podcast. Glad to have you.
Thank you, Ms. Cole, for the opportunity to be on your podcast. I see it as an honor, and I look forward to a more engaging conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we're not gonna wait any further. Time is fast spent. So first, we I want to congratulate you again for taking on this noble responsibility. I know leading in lab organization is not an easy task, so I want to thank you for just stepping up. Um, so before we go deep into the question, what motivated you to run?
Thank you for the question. And so, uh, the motivating factor behind why I stepped up to the plate to contest for the presidency of Taboo Connection was just based on the members' interest. We've started a journey since 2018, and in 2024, this year, before the convention, few of the members saw the need that we could have a shift in leadership, and so they approached me. And having been one of those who, being behind the scenes, making sure that we are where we are today, I had no option but to accept the people's request. So that was one of the motivating factors of why I contested for the presidency.
Awesome, awesome. So you said the organization came into existence 2018.
Yes, so let me just give you a historical background, if you wouldn't mind, of how we started. I will do that maybe on a minute or two. So Taboo Connection is started off uh, before 2018. But then we were not yet registered. Uh, Friends, who once lived in Taboo. And for those who do not know what Taboo is one of the cities in the country called La Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast for short. And it's a bordering country to Liberia. So during our civil war, few persons or Liberians were refugees in Taboo and other parts of Ivory Coast. And so those people who lived in Taboo back then and had the opportunity to have traveled to different countries, especially the United States, saw the need to establish themselves into something that would be a charitable organization to be able to give back to the least fortunate. And so officially so fast forward in 2018, we were legally registered as a corporation in New York State. And since then, we've had that non-for-profit status to operate in the United States. So, in essence, what we do is just being able to give back to people who don't have, the means to, fend for themselves. So that's who we are. We just give back to people who are needy. So that's just a little historicity of what we are.
Awesome. So how many members to date?
A great question. So per our roster, we have over 200 members who've registered as official members. However, we do have a Facebook page which has over 2,000 plus persons, but that's just the social media aspect of that. But per the book, we have at least over 200 persons who have registered. And again, if you permit me, I will just tell you how it works. So for our registration process, it's easy. It's just a one-time fee of $25 to become a member of Taboo Connection. And once you make that payment, you become a member. And then we have what is considered a dues pay member. So, for instance, we have $60, which covers the entire year. So, if you pay your $60, that covers your dues for the entire fiscal year. And then we do have conventions that we do hold every year, and the fee is 90 bucks. So for a total of $150, you become, an active member, to be part of our organization. And again, there are other nuances behind those fees that, if people are interested, I could break those fees down into the various structures, but that's just what it is in essence.
So I want to make sure I understood you, and to for people who are listening now or later. So $50 is just a general membership fee. $50, and then you have $60 where when I break it down, it's $5 a month. So that's $60 for annual membership. And then you also have, and then correct me, if I'm wrong. And then you also have $90 for convention. Is that correct?
No. So there is a one-time fee of $25. Once you fill out our membership form, there is a one-time fee and you don't get to pay that again. It's $25. Now, there is a $60 that is considered as your annual membership fee. It's $60. So if you want to, break it down, it's the $5 per month. However, that $60, what we did is to break it down into two components. There is $35 that go towards what we consider as a benevolence fund. So the benevolence fund is where if something were to happen to any of our members, so say your mom, your dad, or your sibling, your kids, any of them passes in the U.S., the organization takes a certain portion as an envelope and give that to you. So the $35 of the 60 bucks goes towards benevolence. So pretty much it's like 25 bucks you actually pay for due, which is like a drop in the pocket. But we just structure it in a way to say 60 bucks for your annual dues, but that's just broken down into two components. I hope that answered your question.
Helps. But so I want to ask a little more about the $90. So the $90 is an annual convention fee. So tell us more about the convention. What happens there? What covers the $90? Is it subject to change from year to year? Tell us more about that $90.
Great. And so the 90 bucks, it came about when we had our first convention in Dallas. The $90, as any organization would do, the $90 is paid before you can be admitted at the convention. So at the convention is where the general membership meet. And so at that convention, we go about adapting and making amendments to our constitution. Whatever we discussed in our local chat rooms, those decisions are finalized at the convention. So again, like any organization will do, general decisions from the general membership, which is the highest decision making body of the organization, are made at our convention. It is also at the convention that we come up with the next project to undertake. So everything that has to do with the overall health of the organization, those decisions are actually finalized during our general convention. And the sitting fee is 90 bucks. Good. Another point to note is that you asked a question whether that is subject to change. Yes, there is a possibility that could be changed based on unanimous consent by the general membership. But for now, it's $90 until otherwise decided by the general membership.
So stay on membership. John Doe or Mary Brown wants to join the organization, but never been to Taboo, don't know about Taboo, nothing, but they like the values and they like the mission and vision. Can they join?
Great. Yes. So that has been one of the concerns we've had. People were concerned about, oh, I'm not part. I wasn't in taboo, and so when these concerns were being raised, at one point we decided to have an open membership, meaning you, for instance, Miss Cole, Tavina Cole, can become a member of Taboo Connection once you see what we do. We have our website, of course. We have our official Facebook page. So when you're interested in what we do, yes, you can become a member, even if you have not lived in Taboo before.
Thank you. That's good. That's helpful. So stay on the membership. So how? So you did mention that they can fill out a form or where it is. Where's the form? Is it on the website? Is it on your Facebook page? How do the people get in? How do people assess that form?
Great. And so what we've been doing is that as far as the form is just a generic form, that's just basically asking for your first name, your last name, your phone number, your email. If you care to share your month and the date you were born, the state you reside in, the country. Yeah. So for that form, once you contact, or we do have a membership committee that sends that form to you via text message or email. However, as far as integrating that form into our website, that's something that our administration now is embarking on to have the form integrated so that if you went to our website, which is tabooconnection.inc.org, you can be able to see, if you click on maybe join us now, you can just see that form and then you can fill that up to become a member. So, yeah.
Awesome. So it appears to me that the organization is a global organization, but just by the name and everything you said so far. So do you have a headquarters state or a home state, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, global in a sense, yes. Our membership spans across the globe. So we have members in Sweden, Australia, Liberia, the US, Canada, and different parts of the world. However, uh, the, the fact that we are all over the world, we do not have a centralized office, so to speak. We do have a registered office or location, which is New York, which we have our physical address where all of our legal documents go. But as far as if an office to say, yes, this is Taboo Connections office, we actually do not have that. Most of the stuff we do, mostly virtual. We do meet a lot, online and discuss a lot of things, and then we physically meet at least once a year in August for our general convention. If that helps to answer the question.
Yeah, that I mean, everybody moving to virtual and remote now, so just having a virtual space that's helpful. There's sometimes there are some nonprofit you can't even find an office for them, even virtual office or even a mailing address or a working email. So I mean, that's why I'm going with that one. So thank you for clarifying. So let's talk about your leadership structure. Of course, you are the president. Do you have a vice president, secretary? Tell us more about your leadership structure.
Thank you. So for the leadership structure, we have it structured in a way that we do have, first we have the board of directors, and then we have the executive, where we have the vice president, the financial secretary, the treasurer, the chaplain, and then we have other committees that are appointed by the president. And so it is structured in a way that the president makes these appointments. For instance, we have our benevolence committee, we have our project committee, we have public relations and social media committee. So these committees, once they are appointed, these people have to be vetted by the board of directors. And so, when, for instance, since I'm the president, whomever I appoint, automatically that person does not start to function unless they've met the board for for questioning and just to make sure that they know exactly what task they're about to undertake. So yes, we are properly structured in terms of our leadership.
Still peeling the onion there. Your board structure, how many member board?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so our board, we have at least 7 members should be on the board, at least from 5 and above. And so all of those members are all part of the institution. So nobody outside, nobody who is not a part of Taboo Connection can be a part of the board. No, you must be a member. So at least from 5 and above. So that's how our board is structured.
So let's talk about the term for your leadership. I mean, the president, specifically president, vice president, how long is the term? And then your board, how long is the term?
So we have it structured in a way that so that we don't have a conflict or succession. So it is a two terms per leadership. So for instance, I got elected in 2024. So in 2026, my first term will expire. I do have the opportunity if I do want to contest after 2026, I have that opportunity to contest, but it's just 2 terms. After that, no, I cannot contest again. For our board, so it's 2 years. So it's 2 years each term. So it's 2 years, 2 years each term. For our board, it's 3 years. So so say if an administration is expiring, you still have the board to be functioning to be able to charter in the new executive. So the board goes for 3 years each term, and then executive goes for 2 years each term. That's how we are structured.
And so last question still on leadership structure. I know you mentioned that you meet very often, the organization meet very often. How often? What's the cadence there? Is it monthly? How often is often?
So yeah, for the executive, we are to meet at least once per month. However, there are times that we meet more than once if we do have existential factors that will compel us to meet. If there's an emergency case, yes, we can call for meeting anytime, but we are at least required to meet at least once a month. That's how the executive we operate. But we engage on a daily basis in our official chat rooms, every now and then. Yeah.
And so how often the executive meets with the General Assembly or the normal people, for lack of a better term?
So another good question. So at least again, per our constitution, we are to meet with the general membership at least once a month as well. However, if there's not much to discuss with the membership, they also understand that we engage with them through our chat room. So we are really really busy in our WhatsApp and Messenger chat room. So all of the communications that executive have to send out there to our membership, those information are filtered into our WhatsApp and our Messenger chat room. So we are engaged with those members from time to time, and if need be, that we call for a monthly meeting. If something is really pressing, that will call for to tell votes of the membership. Yes, we can call for a meeting.
Thank you, sir. So, thank you for that breakdown. For people who don't understand, so this is helpful, and for somebody like me too who've never heard about Taboo Connection. Um, so, how do you ensure that the organization remain relevant and impactful over your time or over your term?
So, in terms of relevance, is to ensure that we are doing the right thing. And when I mean the right thing is that the past leadership, I must give it out to the former president, His Excellency, former President Abaku Ido, whom I took over from. He did a remarkable job, and we just took over from. We don't see it as politics. This is charity, and so all we do is to be able to just, give back, and so there is not nothing to fight about if somebody wants to contest, and so We are very good friends. He's a big brother of mine. From time to time, I consult with him. So for relevance, we try to make sure that uh, every now and then we engage our members. We have ourselves, very present on social media. If you go to if you go on Facebook now and type in Taboo Connection Incorporated, you definitely see us. We relevant in other words is that making sure that we look out for the welfare of our own members as well. It's not just giving back to charity. We look out for our membership. So let me just give you a typical example. It is not just every time collecting from our members for to donate to these causes that we undertake. One of the things we try to do is that we try to make them feel a part of an organization. And how we do that is, for instance, if you were a member of Taboo Connection and you had a very important event, so say you were getting married, guess what happens? We carry out voluntary contribution, and whatever is raised from the voluntary contribution, 75% of that amount goes to you as a token from the organization, and 25% is kept just in the organization coffers. If I can expand on that, just in about 3 months, we raised so much that people were so inspired that many organizations don't even do that. One of our colleagues was getting married in Minnesota. We do have a perks of $200 that we give out from the organization cover as a token. On top of that, we put a 2 weeks general contribution notice up. So at that, we raised over $1,600, and 75% of that amount went to that person who was part of us. And guess what it did? It helped them to solve some of the problems, or at least to help to cover some of the expenses that they had to do. And we do it from time to time. So, but there's a caveat to that. And that caveat, I'm expanding on this a little bit, but that caveat that you have to be a member in good standing. Good standing means that you would have paid your yearly dues to be in good standing. So if you were not in good standing and you have such an event coming up, guess what happens? We just extend to you congratulatory message, or maybe just a card from CVS or one of those areas. But we just wish you well. But if you are a member in good standing, yes, we are obligated to do what I just explained to you. So I hope that helped to answer that.
I'm blown away by what you said, Mr. Brown. You don't hear that so often around here in Librarian organizations. So I thank you guys for doing that. Every 5 cent help a whole lot, especially when you have projects, weddings, deaths, and stuff like that. I've heard in other organizations, depending on your connection with who, then you get to, even if you pay your dues, then they will give you something. But the fact that you paying your dues and somebody can even give you 75% of a collection, that is noble. It will encourage anybody to be a part of an organization like this, or even refer the organization. So I thank you guys for doing that, and keep up the good work when it comes to that.
Thank you. Let me just chime in something on the 30 seconds, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, sure.
And so, if you were also a member of Taboo Connection and also in good standing, guess what happens? God forbid, if you had a terminal illness, so say you had to go through some procedure, and the membership committee along with the benevolence committee confirmed that, hey, Mr. X or Madam Y is in good standing, and it's confirmed and verified that you going through some terminal illness and that you wouldn't be able to work for a couple of months, the organization raises money, and all of that amount, 100% amount, that amount goes to you. That's different from if you were in good standing and active. But if you were ill, and you say you're going to the hospital and something will happen, if we raise $3,000, $3,000 goes to you. We don't take a penny out of that. And so those are some of the things we do, so that at least not just asking our members to be giving every time, but then if something happens, we don't show up. So a whole lot of things we do, and as times go by, once people are interested, we can delve into what we do in totality. So thank you for the opportunity.
Sure. So I mean, every organization somehow have, especially nonprofit, they have a mission and vision statement. So Tell me about what do you do to keep the mission statement alive or to have it accomplished?
To keep our mission and vision statement alive is to abide by the Constitution. We do not operate outside of the confines of the Constitution. Everything we do in Taboo Connection borders or centers around our guiding rules, which are our Constitution and bylaws. So if there's anything that contravenes, our operations or what we do not do it. So to keep the organization alive is to ensure that everything enshrined within the Constitution and bylaws are withheld to the court. And those are some of the reasons since 2018 we've been around. Even in COVID, we were still functional, and up to current, our membership continued to swell.
Some well, even with constitution, I believe there is some challenges. So have there been some challenges in reaching the mission or accomplishing your mission and vision?
Well, to be quite honest with you, we haven't had any constitutional challenge uh, that would impede the function of the organization. So I'm not trying to taunt Taboo Connections on, but I can tell you that if you really looked at what we do and you really came into being a full fledged member, you will have no regrets. All we do is just group of people with like minds. I mean, don't get me wrong, we do have disagreements here and there. By the end of the day, those things are resolved. So I wouldn't want to, give any wrong information, but to the best of my recollection, I don't see anything that we may have done that will jeopardize our progress up to now.
Thank you, sir. So let's talk a little bit about leadership and probably strategy. What leadership skills you think are essential for running a nonprofit or effective nonprofit?
The the skills, there are many skills out there, but I would say to you, for a not-for-profit to function, and Ms. Cole, I will be honest to tell you, you have to be transparent as much as possible as you can. If you are not transparent in your dealings, especially when it comes to the organization funds, I can tell you your leadership will never have any legacy to leave behind. I've watched this organization grow to where we are, and to present, I cannot point to any financial malfeasance that I can even point to. So if today Taboo Connection, it is what it is because of the transparent people that we have. I don't know how much to quote this, but transparency is the goal, man. If you want to lead an institution, you need to have integrity. You have to be transparent, and you just got to lead by example. Be open minded. It's nothing to hide, especially when you are managing people money. That's that's all I can say. Just be open, whatever it is. If you spend $5, have a receipt of the $5. Make it open. Don't hide anything. I mean, just be transparent. I think the that's the hallmark.
Transparency and openness. So, speaking about strategy, tell us about one strategy that you've come up with, or the organization that came up with that had significantly impacted the organization for a good reason.
Great. So when you have an organization, and because you feel that you're the president or you're the board of directors, and ignoring the people's concern, that is a recipe for failure. So let me clearly point to the strategy that has made Taboo Connection to continue to succeed. It is allowing the people to be the one to make the decision. So what we do is, for instance, let me give you a clear example, one example. If we want to undertake a project, the executive and the board will strategize and say, hey, we want to do X, Y, Z. Guess what we do? We do not make that decision. We go to the general membership and give them options. They are the ones to decide which project to undertake. And because we allow them to be the ones to undertake the project, or to vote upon what to undertake, they embrace it so much, and in no time those projects are executed. So strategy allow the people's will to prevail. That's what I can say.
I love that. Give the people the power. I love that. I love that. Awesome. So let's talk about projects. I know you mentioned, about giving people the power and when you're ready to execute projects. But let's talk about some of the projects. What measures you've put in place, other than giving the people the power, but what measures you put in place to just to measure your projects, or in different ways, and to make sure they are effective.
All right, thank you. So for projects, for instance, we we undertook a project in Liberia, in the county called Maryland, which is closest to Ivory Coast. And what we did was we allowed the project committee, after the membership agreed that we should undertake a backpack project with other, school materials for kids. The project committee went ahead and did a feasibility study and came back to us with the numbers. And at the end of the day, you know, um, we presented the findings to the membership, and they saw it to be a good thing that we could have done back then, a few years ago. And so at the end of the day, we were able to supply 436 up to almost close to almost 500 students from struggling schools in Maryland, with backpacks, with school materials included in it. That was our very first heavy project that we undertook, and that project was successful. And the way it was successful, that we worked out all of the modalities. Fortunately for us, the chairman of the board uh, was traveling to Liberia, and so we craved his indulgence to help to execute that project, so that at least we could have a proper accountability of those materials that were sent out to the school. So that's how we operate. So whatever we want to do, we properly strategize, we come up with the numbers, we run them by the membership approve that, we come up with what each person is going to contribute. And again, just to mention one thing, all of our projects are membership funded. So it is the membership that funds these projects. So that's how we've been operating. And so, yeah.
So, obviously, we're in technology age. So, I care to if you care to share with us, how do you think technology and innovation play a part in the success of a nonprofit?
Well, I there's no better way to say that, but if you have an organization that does not want to conform to the technological age that we live in, a lot of things will not be effective. And so, using technology, we've made use of every tool possible. For instance, we do have a YouTube channel to be able to reach out there to people, upload some of our videos, some of the things we do. We have a Facebook page. That's a StreamYard account that uh, every now and then membership come on there and discuss way forward for the institution. So whatever tool that we can use in the day and age, we are very open to that. What we do is that we let the membership know that, hey, man, we're going to be using this thing. It's going to help to promote our image out there. It's going to make people know that yes, we are up to par technologically, and the membership embraces such an idea, and then we go for it. And so we try our best to continue to look out there, improving our website, its appearance, and just whatever we can do to just make us stand out there. Technically, we know we are open to that. So, yeah, I couldn't agree more that without technology in this day and age, there wouldn't be much you can hear of an institution.
So let's talk about retention. I know in different ways you mentioned it, the organization is growing, but what strategies you continue to use to retain existing members and even grow the organizations? I know most organizations, especially library organizations, they start with 50 and over time they drift to probably 10 or 5. So what is your strategy for success?
Strategy for success. I'll put it this way. Over time, when we started, we were engaged into some of the things, like I said, being able to look out for our members, like recognizing them. So if they have weddings coming up, if they have bereavement, if they have major events in their life, we weren't doing those things at first in 2017, but once we adopted that attitude of recognizing and appreciating our members, guess what happened? Our membership, since then continued to swell. And so we think, in order to retain your membership, you have to acknowledge the little they give. And if you do not do that, there is a possibility that, well, why should I be part of this institution that does not recognize me? And guess what happens? So say, for instance, we have this thing where we have active versus inactive members. So I wouldn't like to see my name being placed on an inactive status. So what we do is that once in a while we flash, information to say, hey, you are inactive. And once people see that they're inactive, people always think things happen. And so considering that things happen, everybody wants to be in good standing to benefit some of these things that we do. And so retaining our membership is just based on the fact that we always acknowledge and recognize the things our members do. And by being able to, give back to them once the need arises. So that has been our strength.
Or I didn't realize I was a mid. So like any other organization, everybody have conflicts, right? So let's talk about conflict resolution. How have you managed conflicts or challenges within Taboo Connection?
Again, no institution is conflict free. And so, based on that fact, I will tell you that Taboo Connection, and again, I don't like to say this, but I've been part of other organizations, but the way this organization operates is a little unique, Ms. Tavina. I'll be honest with you. I've been in Taboo Connection since 2017. So I cannot point to you one instance that we had to call general membership meeting to resolve conflict between, for example, you and I. However, there may be misagreements, with leaders that we can handle in the back end. But to tell you that, hey, two members like exchange words or leadership says something to somebody, and so we have to come to a meeting to resolve that conflict. I cannot point to that. However, there have been instances where there were there were people have just different views of things, and so that those things the board or the executive will resolve those so easily. I can point to you just under my administration. I was able to resolve one instance in no time by just placing phone call to the two individuals, and, and nothing escalated. So I think one of the ways to do that is when if you see there is a potential conflict that will arise as a leader, jump to the phone, call those involved to de-escalate the situation so it doesn't filter to the rest of the membership, because you do not want the general membership to be involved because there will be divergent views and people will have X, Y, Z to say, and then it will spread out. So all you do is do as much as you can as a leader to resolve those in the back end. So yeah.
Stay on conflict skills. So tell us one of your most difficult challenges you've had as a leader and how you were able to resolve it.
Well, I assumed the presidency August of this year, and Again, it was just one event or one instance. It wasn't even difficult because it was just one phone call to the two persons. We are all very good friends, and I can tell you, matter of fact, whilst on the phone, it was resolved. And so uh, I didn't see that as a challenge. It was not a challenge because I did not have to get a boy involved. It was just three persons interacting, and it was resolved. And so that's what I can say to that.
I mean, here you talking about leadership. You make leadership sound like a cakewalk. So it must be a easy and a fun thing for you.
Well, you have to be people centered. I'll be honest with you, and just maybe a little bit. Just so you know, I once served as the chair of the membership committee back, a couple of years back under the former president. So I had the opportunity to engage with at least all of the members, and so it's easier to relate to people who you've worked with in the past. So just so you know that.
Awesome. So let's talk about mistakes. We all make mistakes. No one is infallible. So tell us about some of the mistakes you've made. What are assuming as since you took over as a president, or while you were supporting other leadership, and how you've evolved through that, or how have you learned through that situation?
So, since assuming office in 2018, I mean 2024 in August, uh, maybe I will say one of the mistakes that I've made is not to have reached out to all of the members. Uh, I see that's a mistake, and I will admit to that. There's still room for improvement on that. I have to get more, more engaged with the members because these are the people that continue to propel our growth. And so I see that as a responsibility that I have to, double my efforts on. And so that has been a mistake or a challenge in my view. And I'm looking forward at least, to closing that gap very soon.
Awesome. So let's talk about some of the projects. I know you talk about past projects, but anything new on the horizon? Any initiative projects you want to tell us about? You're excited about that's coming up? Whether a year or two from now, months from now? Tell us more.
Oh, yes. Speaking of projects, currently we are embarking or we've embarked on a project. Guess where that project is going? It's going to Taboo, where we like people, a majority of the group in this organization have resided Taboo, there where that project is going. And let me just expand on that. That project is to give back to uh, Liberians are still residing in Taboo and its environs. And we were made aware by our project committee that we still have close to 2,000 plus residents in Taboo. And so the membership agreed that we will go ahead. The goal is before the end of this year, at least by Christmas, the project will be executed. And that is giving at least every household something to eat. And that project is going to cost us 16,000 and some change, 16,000 plus United States dollars. How are we raising that money? Is from the very membership that I talked about earlier. And using a platform, I cannot thank them enough for what they've done and they continue to do. Everything that Taboo Connection has done in the past, is doing now, has been funded squarely 100% by the membership. And so that project is a very huge task, and the membership is doing its best to ensure that we execute that project. So we are looking forward to outsiders to assist us. We have taxed ourselves $153 per member to fund that project. However, there are members who've donated way more than that. The highest donor being $1,000. Yes, the highest donor within the organization donated $1,000 to that cost, and that's our queen. She resides in Colorado. Yep, she donated $1,000 to that cause, and other officials have donated $600, $700, $450, and the minimum is $153. And so we're looking forward, we're looking forward and asking maybe people who are not member of Taboo Connections. I know that would be my closing, but we will also appreciate if you, Miss Cole can also help Taboo Connection. We need every penny. So thank you. Yes.
Mr. Brown, that's a noble act. So, how can I know you talk about the members giving, but how can other supporters or other people hearing about this, or just the broader community, contribute to this noble cause?
So we, again, like I said, to contribute, we do have our Facebook page. Once you go there and write us, or we have a Zelle number. That Zelle number we can share with anybody who thinks that they see the need to assist Liberians who are still residing in exile, especially in Taboo, to help us with this project. If they would like to assist us, we do have a Zelle number, and that Zelle number. If would you care if I share that number? So the Zelle number is 518-776-7572. 518-776-7572. And once you make a donation, you will receive a call to thank you and acknowledge that we received your payment. And if you don't mind putting just a brief, description to the Zelle member, that's fine. But once we receive any donation, we definitely do acknowledge those people who donate to such a worthy cause. So that's how people contact us, or people can donate to the cause.
Just type the number on the screen. Again, can you verify, Mr. Brown, that this is correct?
Yes, the number is correct.
The viewers, now or later, if you'd like to contribute to the cost, they have a project going on that costs about $16,000. That's a lot of money to be, member funded. So every little dollar make a difference in anything you do. I know I run my own nonprofit, so I know how it is to just do things. So if you can help them in any way, I know Halatitan people are exceptionally generous. So every $5, $1 make a difference. So if you can help them with a project, that would be a lot helpful. Thank you. Uh,
Thank you for doing that as well.
okay. Can you hear me now, Mr. Brown? Okay,
Yes, I
good.
can hear you.
Okay, so other than the project that the organization is taking on, what is your vision or what is your goal for the organization under your leadership? What do you hope to accomplish before your term is over or during your term?
Thank you. And that's a very good question. One of the things that I ran on was the fact that as a non-for-profit, at least in the U.S., most organizations strive for a tax exempt status, which is what is considered as the 501c3 status. And so, as a charitable organization like ours, we we are we are eagerly awaiting to attain that status, because the goal on my administration is that at least before my first term, uh, Taboo Connections should have had the 501c3 status. And the essence of why we strive for that is because with such a status, the organization will have the opportunity to apply for grants and apply for assistance from other big institutions. Because for now, if we were to do so, there is the unlikelihood that we may not get the needed assistance, because any big organizations wanting to donate to On a smaller organization, they want to know whether we do have a tax exempt status, which is the 501c3. And if you don't have that, they may not, give you what you asked for. And so, my goal before my tenure expires is to ensure that we do have that 501c3 status, and also to structure us in a way that all of our projects would not just be members funded, but at least we would have had some donor support, which is really, really huge, because this has been a huge burden on our members who continue to stretch, out from their pockets and funding these projects. And so that is something that is heavily on my heart, and I'm really, really working hard to ensuring that that is achieved.
Okay, awesome. That's a good one. So let's talk about some personal, motivation or what keeps you going. So what motivates you to continue working within Taboo Connection or even working as a president of the organization?
Well, my motivation is just tell to be very honest with you, is, I once lived in the Ivory Coast, and I know what it means to be destitute. I know what it means to be hungry. I know what it means to lack basic necessities. And so the driving force behind why I'm still a member of this organization is because of what we believe in, giving back. And without that, I wouldn't be a part of this, because, like I said to you, every penny we raise in Taboo Connection, goes towards a worthy cause. And so, because I experienced what it meant to sleep hungry, I experienced what it meant to live as a refugee, specifically, where you have to wait for United Nations to have your name placed on a roster before you get a cup of rice or beans to eat. Those things continue to propel me and the rest of those who are part of Taboo Connection. I can tell you that for a fact. Every member of Taboo Connection, that is the driving force behind what we do, what we continue to do. So yeah.
So what word of encouragement would you give to someone who desired to run as a president or in leadership role or the board or of a nonprofit or any organization?
Well, the encouragement I would tell anybody who is wanting to lead an organization like ours, one, you have to be patient. You have to be selfless. I will tell you this: we've been in this organization since 2018. No official has gotten paid. We go to these conventions, even as leaders, spending our own money. We don't get paid. You imagine looking at a couple of dollars, in an organization account as a president or the board director, and whatever it is, and you cannot take a penny from those people's money. So if you are not willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, you cannot be a leader. That's what I would say. If you cannot make the sacrifice, to just serve without pay. Imagine, Ms. Cole, I mean, serving without pay. 2 years to be a president for 2 years, and never a day that the institution writes you a check. It's tough, but it's only because of the passion, the willingness to be able to put people together, to give back to people who are hungry. That's what we do, what we continue to do. So that's what I can say.
The same sentiment there because I know running nonprofit, you have to dig into your personal money. Not only that, nobody giving you a check, but you dig into your personal fundings, and it takes a lot of time. And then, I mean, on a broader scale, where you have to deal with people, and sometimes people not even grateful for just the sacrifices you're making. So I thank you for what you continue to do. Um, so if Mr. Brown legacy is going to end in a year or two from now, however long he's supposed to stay in power, how do you want to be remembered? How do you want your leadership to be remembered?
So I want my leadership to be remembered by being the president under whose leadership that at least Taboo Connection was able to be elevated to having a 501c3 status. I want my leadership to be elevated to a status where at least under my leadership that a lot of things would have changed. For instance, how we operate. And so right now we are in the process to revisit our constitution, to make some amendments to some of the things, some of the way we operate, to be able to change those things to conform to what uh, an actual not-for-profit supposed to operate. And so my vision is that by the time I'm out of the office, there shouldn't be any reason that will prompt one thing, an audit. I try as much as possible to ensure, I have a previous background in accounting, and so I also try to look after the company, the organization, call for us to just ensure that every nickel and dime is actually being spent in the proper way. So uh, I don't want to leave office just as my predecessor. He left office with no blame. I want to also do the same. That I want to spend wisely. Let me add that there. I don't just want to dish out the people's money, but I want to do it prudently so that it wouldn't be that under my administration we were just spending here and there. And that's why I'm listening more in most of our meetings and acting less, but very strategically.
So, you keep talking. There's something you said more than once, so I want to go there. That you want to get the nonprofit, the non-exempt status, I mean, the exempt status, and all of that. And you want to be remembered. That's one of the things you ran on. So you can accomplish that in 9 months to a year because I file those things, so I know how they work. I've done it for other people, but then you're in power for 2 years. So what else do you plan to do outside of that?
So outside of that, I want to make sure that at least under my administration, aside from just executing one project before the convention, I want to ensure that at least each year, each fiscal year, at least more than two projects should be executed, because just one project that may not be, be executed before you go to the convention, I want to make sure that that should be a top priority on my administration, that before a convention, there has to be project or projects that are executed. I also want to make sure that under my administration, anything that is innovative, for instance, I'm actually craving the indulgence of membership to, you know, the last time I was at the bank, the way the inflow of our finances, like Zelle, Cash App, and all of that. I'm trying to make sure that we can have an integrated platform where members can securely just go, and make their payments. For instance, if you were to pay your $60 due, um, same way you can go online, go shop at Amazon, have a secure platform where members can just go and make their payment, and they are acknowledged with a receipt. And then at the end of the year, whatever contributions they make, at least if it is over, I think, $400 or $600, those members should be given a written notice from Taboo Connection that they can use in the filing to be able to get some little money back, because you cannot just be in an institution and keep giving, and then at the end of the year, there's nothing to show how much you donated. You cannot be claim anything on your taxes. So just before I close on the, I want to make sure that before I leave power, that each member every year at the end of the year, so say for instance, we already in December. So by December 31st, the financial office would have compiled a list of all those who donated and write an official letter with our EIN and everything, showing that this is how much Isaac or Tavina has donated, and those money based on the status that we have can be used, against their filings to be able to get, even if it's $100 they got back. At least those are some of the things I'm looking forward to.
I just want to clear that up, but I still have some personal questions before we draw down the curtains. I know time is of the essence for all of us. So tell us, I mean, dealing with our people, and no shame about it. It's a difficult task dealing with us and even managing us. So what do you do to stay balanced, to avoid burnout? Tell us of some of your coping skills.
So one of the things that I do to stay balanced is to remain very simple. In as much as I'm president, I allow myself to be a servant leader. I do not take the presidency to mean that I should be glorified. No, I don't like those glorifications. So guess what I do? The organization got they have some fun chat rooms that people just go and laugh and make fun. Even me as president, when I go there, I tell them, "Hey man, this is no president business. We all here to laugh." And so I allow them to joke with me as I just it should not just be that disrespectful, But I if sometimes you listen to me on the phone with people, that Mr. President title, I don't, hey man, call me Isaac. So be flexible with your people. It's nothing to be too serious about. Once you are flexible with people, they are willing to listen to you. If you call for them to do anything, they will do it. But if you're too serious, too rigid, you want to respond. And let me add this, it is not everything you respond to as a leader, especially now we live in a technological age where we have WhatsApp, we have Messenger. People, members can be provocative. So there are things that they will say in these chat rooms. If you have a thin skin as a leader and try to respond to everything these people say in the chat room, your leadership or your administration is up for failure. And so what I do most of the time when I see anything that tends to question the efficacy of our leadership, what we try to do is that we've channeled it to we have a membership committee that deals with kind of aspect. I'll call the membership committee and say, "Hey man, there is a concern from Mr. Vina. Can you call her and ask her what's going on?" So I, as a president, I do not have to respond to everything. As a leader, listen more to the people and act less. That's what I can say.
Thank you, thank you. I like the last one you said about that approach or how you handle, conflicts or on the technology front. Because with all these apps we have, if you have somebody like Telvina, I write a lot, but so having somebody to reach out to me to understand more my thought process, what my concerns are, is really a good thing because it helps to minimize the conflict and also to not let things escalate and rub on other people. But once you just get throw it to the curve and think like, "Oh, it doesn't belong here, this person kind of way," and then the person feel less than, and then the things just tend to increase. As you have somebody that Talvina who full of energy is never gonna stop anytime soon. So thank you for that skill. I hope some people can learn from this. um
And just to add, just 30 seconds, even our leadership chat room, sometimes it becomes very heated. Same strategy applies. Some of the leaders will come at you, will say some things, even if all of your leadership, but some of the comments, all you have to do as the head is just gloss over it and brush it up and pretend like nothing happens and just keep it moving, and that way it de-escalates things. So that's some of the strategies.
oh, mute. Sorry, my computer keep muting. um do you have a mentor or somebody that steer you in the direction as you continue to be on leadership role or a nonprofit journey? You care to share?
Well, and I will be very honest to say this, I really do not have a mentor, to be honest. What I do is that I read a lot, you know. Um, yeah, I read a lot on leadership per se, or just different aspect of what it means to be part of groups, to be in organizations. And so based on what I read, I put those things into context and just try to apply some of those principles. But particularly, no, I really do not have uh, anyone to really speak of as a mentor that I try to emulate, so to speak.
Okay. So one last one before I turn it over to you to give some parting comments or anything we didn't touch on. Um, if you could change one thing in Taboo Connection, what would that be?
The one thing that I hope to change is to just ask our members uh, to just spread the word out there. It just shouldn't be about leadership doing everything. Members should be the ones, also, So, say for instance, if you have your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, and you are part of Taboo Connection, one of the things I hope that can change is once I'm part of Taboo Connection, can I encourage my wife? Can I encourage can you encourage your husband? Can you encourage your girlfriend to help to support a cause that you believe in? Even if they do not want to be a member, they could be donors. And that's one of the things I really, really hope can change in Tamil Connection, because at the end of the day, when you do that, if you guys were three in the house and you brought two persons, everybody can do that. Our strength will continue to be of much impact. That's what I can say.
Awesome. So I've exhausted all of my questions and everything. So it's your turn, Mr. Brown. If you have anything that I didn't cover or you'd like to share, please, it's all yours now.
So, first of all, let me take this time to thank you. In as much as I did not see this coming, I know that you followed, work. I it just came on the spur of the moment. There was nothing scripted, and so you can see that I was just caught unaware that, hey, I'm going to interview today. I want to know what Taboo Connection does, and so I mean, on a very serious note, on behalf of the administration of Taboo Connection and our membership, I really, really want to thank you for all you continue to do. I follow your works on social media. I know you have a non-for-profit as well, and I see all you continue to do, your advocacy and all of that. And so, on behalf of our leadership and the entire Taboo Connection, I want to thank you for this opportunity to appear on your most widely listened to platform. And Taboo Connection, we are here to stay. If anyone is interested in being a member, do not hesitate. Just contact us on the number that was provided, or you can go to Facebook and just type in Taboo Connection Incorporated. You will definitely see us there. You can send us a chat message. Somebody will respond to you. Again, just before I let just draw down the credits, I like to say that we are now undertaking a huge project in Taboo that is costing over $16,000. Every help is needed. So I'm asking all those who are listening to this podcast, the number is on the screen. Uh, Whatever you can contribute will be highly appreciated. And so, Ms. Cole, I want to thank you again for this opportunity. And I want to extend an open invitation to you. If you like what we talked about and you want to come and be a part of Taboo Connection, as the president I am, and man, I'm extending that invitation to you to come and join us. We think you have a lot to offer, and we'll be very much open and welcoming to receive you in open arms and to learn some of the skills that you possess. And so, again, I want to thank you for such an opportunity to have appeared on your show. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I want to thank you also for being here. I know you're very busy, and we are busy, but just to take some time off your Sunday to come and talk about your your organization, I don't take that for granted. So thank you so much. I like what I hear. Continue to do what you continue to do, and whatever way that we can be of any help, feel free to reach out. We will support in any way we can possible. We're busy, we're stretched very thin, but we love to give back to community. That's our passion. That's where our heart is, and so we don't mind doing it. And I know today we're talking about Taboo Connection, but I know the president of Taboo Connection wear many hats because I follow you. So on a different show, I'm sending an open invitation. We're gonna come back. And this time we're not talking about Mr. Taboo Connection. We're gonna talk about Mr. Browne as the entrepreneur. We're gonna talk about Mr. Browne as the IT professional. And so I'm looking forward to that conversation because I love technology. So thank you so much and have a blessed week.
All right, and please, we also look forward to seeing your donation. I will ask, and just before you go, I will ask my financial secretary to make sure that you donate to our cause. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.